Sorry, it was time. You took too long. You took too long.
Now your candy's gone. That's what happens.
Sure.
Do you not remember me showing you Bee and Puppy Cat?
I know. Of the Bee and Puppy Cat.
That's from Bee and Puppy Cat. You were obsessed with it for a little minute.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't remember? Took too long. Now your candy's gone.
I had a baby.
That's what happens.
I had a baby.
Yeah, well, we watched this shit like 7 years ago.
I know, and I've had a baby.
No, it makes the brain squeeze. Squeezy brain. Oh, Knuckles.
The TV show?
No, the movie.
It's a TV show.
It's a TV show?
Yeah.
Bullshit.
It's like a 4-episode. I made a note about it. I was like, I didn't watch the Knuckles series. Did I need to do that before I watched?
It's a TV miniseries. 6 episodes.
I was like, is there lore that I'm missing?
Briefly.
But I'm assuming it's when he goes to hide the Chaos Emerald, because I didn't remember that shit. I apparently don't remember much from the second movie.
There's 6 fucking episodes.
I know! I was like, I remember that we were supposed to watch it. Like we had said, we're supposed to watch it before we watch Sonic 3. And then, well...
Carrie Ells is in it?
Severance came out.
Christopher Lloyd is in it?
And a bunch of other things happened. There were other things that came out, and we just got distracted. I heard it was good.
I'm distracted right now.
I thought you knew. I'm sorry. I also wanted you to look through these and decide if you wanted to keep any.
That's what I figured.
Did you decide?
No, I have not.
Fired.
I've been a bit busy.
Did you pick out a new recipe? Or another recipe? So that I can go grocery shopping?
There was a lot to do.
I offered to pick out an additional one and cook myself. And you said, no, I can do it. And I was like, I feel like picking out recipes is really hard for you. Are you sure? And you said, no, I'll do it. And I was like, okay. And here we are. You sent us a bunch of recipes?
They're in the general chat of our Discord.
Ah, you should make one of those.
Good.
So yeah, we got 1 more minute. Anything you want to talk about? Anything important? Pertinent? Pressing?
How are the tornadoes?
Oh yeah, are you good, my guy? Like, this plot summary is dumb because it starts here.
Yeah, it starts chronologically instead of the way the movie goes.
Dumb.
The way the movie goes is a fucking race first, right?
I didn't pull up my notes. No, it starts in the facility when Shadow breaks out. Google Docs, because I watched this in a place where I had access to.
Oh, I'm sorry, I have 22 notes.
I have 121.
In that case, we're going through every single one of my notes.
I didn't even really touch mine last time. Hello? I am signed in, you piece of shit. I don't want an untitled. I want the one I wrote.
I'm glad the weather dodged you.
Today. With the stuff. And the thing. Is this alphabetical?
Yeah, checking your Google Docs.
Found it.
Okay. Do we know the plot? Are we gonna lose the plot?
I mean, no, because I am mentally all here.
And you watched the movie today, right?
And I did watch it today.
All right, there we go. Oh, that's the bicycle. It's like, what kind of weird ass stick man is that? It's a bicycle.
No, I took it from their
It's a bicycle.
merch.
Bicycle.
I committed a bit of fraud, but
I will never wear it at.
I mean, you could just. It's a fan service.
They might get bitchy about it.
You're like, I made it because I love you guys. Or they might be all like, that's a great idea.
Did you see they're doing a mug club?
No. Is your cousin joining? Because
I'm pretty sure he bought it, but they were doing a giveaway for one person for each location. And so I, like a very intelligent sweepstakes player, read through every comment to see where the majority of people were applying for, basically, because it was the same thing, follow us, comment on the post.
each comment is another entry.
No, it's just one. You
Good.
only get the one.
I hate those ones that are like,
So
each comment
because
is a separate
because
entry.
your comment had to be the place you wanted your mug club to work at, because they're doing them by location, I guess. So I read through all the comments and they were all for South, and then like 2 or 3 for Pflugerville and 1 for Highland. Highland is the one next to our rock climbing gym next to Blue Genie Bazaar.
Oh, okay.
So I put in for Highland. And basically, you get this big fat fucking mug that says spokesman on it. And I think you get free beers with it, like 1 per visit or something. I don't remember exactly what all the perks were. And you get deals. But yeah, I shot for that because I was like, I think it'd be cool to be gifted. It's like $150 purchase for a year's mug club.
So
Now
Sonic?
I'm fucking distracted. Yeah, Sonic.
I just popped through and I wanted to show you. Oh, do you not like it?
No, I do like it.
Okay.
More the shit out of it.
All right, here we go. Hello. Wow, way to make your entrance there, James. Just a really loud sniff.
I'm shockingly far from the microphone for it to pick that up so loudly.
I am America. That is James. This is CityWavesCinema, and we
Or slower than hedgehogs.
Watch Sonic. 3. What are you? What?
I'm sorry. We got the detailed information up. It's something I hadn't looked up yet was how it did at the fucking box office. Jesus Christ. It cleared at the box office.
Yeah.
This movie fucking clowned on everything else that came out in the year of our Lord 2024.
There had to be. Wicked came out in 2024.
Yeah, but did Wicked clear $500 million at the box office?
It had to have cleared more than that.
Theater kids are broke.
It was. No one has said bad things about it. All right, hang on. Let's go find out. Since we're talking.
Since we're looking at it. Oh, yeah, it did. It did. And it had a bigger budget, too.
There you go. Proof.
Yeah, but Wicked's gonna be worse.
No. You haven't seen it. You don't know. You don't know anything about Wicked. You don't know anything about the show. You don't know anything about the movie. You don't even know what the story is.
Aren't there like a bunch of gay fairies in it?
What?
I might be thinking of something else. I think I might be thinking of a different thing.
What are you thinking of?
The show with a bunch of gay fairies in it.
Well, first of all, this isn't a show, it's a movie.
Well, right, but isn't Wicked a show with gay fairies in it?
It's a theater, it's a play, it's
right,
a musical.
So it's a show.
Yeah. Just want to make sure we weren't talking about a TV show because I wanted to address that before I got to the gay fairies portion. There are no fairies in Wicked.
But the Wicked, well, witches.
There you go.
A bunch of gay witches.
No.
They're all hetero witches?
They are canonically, this is debated amongst the theater community, but canonically written on the page, they are straight witches.
I don't believe it. Welcome to Sonic 3.
Where we talked about Wicked briefly.
For a whole minute.
Got
interluded by the goddamn musical theater universe.
This movie has no business being as good as it is. I was talking about it. What?
I think at this point in the Sonic movie series, it does actually have business being this good.
That's what I was going to say. I was like, for a children's franchise to have a third movie be as good as the one, like, as the second one and the first one is really unheard of.
Yeah. I mean,
Like, they really start to fall off. Like, sometimes the second one's good, but, like, think about Cars. You had Cars 1,
Cars
Cars
2 was a fall
2,
off.
Cars 3 we never actually watched, even though we were technically supposed to. Um,
We did a prank. It was April Fool's. Leave us alone.
but yeah, so to have these each be like just as enjoyable is just really, really, really good.
Now, our live chat's bringing up Shrek. And Shrek 1, phenomenal. Shrek 2, great. Shrek 3, let's pretend it isn't real.
That's the one with Arthur, right? And then
I don't know.
Yeah, because then Shrek the Fourth is the one with Rumpelstiltskin, which
yeah, very bad.
And then
there's
Shrek
a bunch of other
5.
ones. There's like a bunch of other Shrek type movies, and then we get to the Puss in Boots movies, which are, haven't seen them, supposedly quite good.
There's no other Shrek movies. There's like 1 or 2 holiday specials. There's only Shrek 1, 2, 3, 4, soon to be 5, and then you have Puss in Boots.
Well, the Puss in Boots movies are supposedly quite good, so it maybe just had to circle around.
I watched the first one and I just didn't get it.
But what about the one with the wolf?
I mean, we can put, you know what, let's
put that on the list.
Let's put Puss in Boots on the list, because we haven't, now when I say watched it, it was one of those ones that was on the cruise, and I...
Oh, so you didn't watch it.
So
it was just there.
It played on an endless loop in our room.
In Spanish.
It was not in Spanish.
Oh, all right.
It's kind of like how I watched Penguins in Madagascar. I just watched chunks of it repeatedly.
So you are correct. This children's movie series is so good, and the team at Paramount who put it together, they did such a good job in all 3 movies, doing just the right amount of fan service to hit everyone's nostalgia button, and adjusted plots and things just enough to piss off all the most diehard fans while making everyone else smile. So, it's...
And creating new fans.
It's like The Last of Us. It's like any number of fucking video game adaptations to the screen. It's fucking great.
It's really good.
It's really good.
Now
that we're done stroking the movie off,
let's
talk about what the fuck is wrong with it.
This movie starts in 2024, where we are like in this weird military base, and
I have a note.
Okay, we have these 2 guards that are guarding something. We don't know what the something is yet. My first note is about the guards, because one of the guards eats all the Boston cream donuts and tells the other guard, and all I wrote was fucking rude, Kyle. And I really wanted to say it on the stream because we frequently have a viewer that's named Kyle. So fucking rude, Kyle. Continue. What's your note about the guards in the military base?
My note was before yours, but thanks for fucking railroading your stupid Boston cream
Sometimes if I don't railroad, I don't get to say any of my notes because you just go off on a tangent for 2 hours. That's what happened last time.
Content, baby, content. Prison Island is a dumb fucking name for an island that is a prison.
Nope, we're not gonna say it. We're not gonna say it.
What?
I was gonna make a comment that would definitely get us in trouble with the powers that be currently, so I'm just
gonna... name it Alcatraz, and that's final.
Or Azkaban.
That's not a real place.
That's what some people call it. That's what some people call Alcatraz, is Azkaban.
Did he really?
Mm-hmm.
On camera?
Mm-hmm.
Out loud?
Mm-hmm.
In front of people?
Yep.
You think he's ever watched those movies?
No.
So how did he get the name?
I don't know.
Well, he can't read, so he didn't read the books. Do you think someone said it in his presence?
I don't know.
Do you think, like, somewhere there's, like, a really good kid and his forehead hurts really bad every time?
Anyways. So yeah, this is the gun prison.
It's Prison Island. Get it right.
I'm reading. It says into a gun prison.
Yeah, gun. Stupid fucking.
So these guards are just yakking it up. Fucking Kyle's eating all the Boston cream donuts.
They're guarding Shadow.
Yes, and he says that popsicle hasn't moved for nearly 50 years. He's not frozen,
He's just in
but
stasis.
like his liquid is liquid. Like he's not. It's not like a frozen popsicle. It was just a dumb line that felt like they wrote it before they really figured out how they were going to like animate the storage of Shadow. But
remember when I was talking to you about how some of the dialogue felt really like, what are we even doing here?
I didn't really feel
All the
that.
dialogue of these guards fit right into the category where I was sitting here. It was the very beginning of the movie, and I was going, is this going to be a worse movie than the other Sonic movies? Because this dialogue kind of sucks. And then we got into like the meat and potatoes of the movie, and it really fixed itself. But like a lot of the tertiary character dialogue is fucking wooden as hell.
I didn't. I guess like the guards were the only ones where I felt that, and I only made that note about the popsicle one, and only because it annoyed me that it wasn't like frozen. It was just like sleep water. But I digress. Shadow is my favorite character in the Sonic the Universe characters. Just throwing that out there because I'm gonna say a lot of things, and I just need everyone to know that that Shadow's my favorite. But yes, we are guarding Shadow, and as we open and the guards get done talking about their donuts, we start to see alerts start to ping off. And there isn't what we come to find out, an unknown individual hacking into the gun prison to release Shadow. And that's kind of where
The Eggman head flares on the console. Did you see it?
I didn't.
Okay, so when the hack is occurring and the alerts are flaring all over that control room, one of the screens flashes. It's a really old Robotnik logo. It's not the same one that Eggman uses, but it's literally like they ripped it straight from the old Sonic games.
Oh, that's cool.
It's straight Eggman Robotnik logo with the mustache and the goggles and the head. So
That's cool.
it tricks you if you catch it into thinking that Eggman is hacking out Shadow, but that is not the case.
Now, I will say this. I enjoy Sonic, and I've played some games here and there, but I'm more like, it's kind of like I am with Star Wars. I'm very much like a casual fan. I don't know much deep about the lore. I don't really dig into it very much. I just kind of...
In that case, you probably really fuck with this whole story and Shadow's backstory and all that.
Here and there. I did know, because Shadow's my favorite, I did know about his backstory and stuff going into it. But I'm curious if there were like
This is a little different.
I was like if there were inconsistencies between the movie and the game, I didn't catch them. So yeah.
I could not get over the fact that the guards, when Shadow gets busted out,
yeah.
opens his eye and punches out through the glass, and they hit the alarm bell, and all the armed guards rush in there into the room. They get so motherfucking close with ranged weapons. They get within like 3 feet of his case before he punches out.
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting here watching the movie going, that's too close. That's poor decision making. That's bad planning.
They could have really shot further. I wrote during his whole breakout scene, like, this is what I mean when I said it's important to know going forward in my notes that Shadow is my favorite, because I wrote, in this order, Shadow is my fave. I mean, come on, how is he not the main character? Look at him. He is so cool. And then, yeah. Then Shadow breaks out and we jump to Team Sonic, which is what they will be referred to.
First he beats the fuck out of all those guys.
I mean, I just included that in the breakout. Of course he beat the guys.
Then we go to a picnic.
Yeah, we go to Team Sonic. Which...
yeah. In Green Hills.
Yeah, they're kind of out on a picnic, and they're having a race between Knuckles, Sonic, and Tails, to see who is the fastest, which I think is a dumb thing, because isn't Sonic, like, canonically the fastest out of the group other than Shadow? Like
Yeah.
no one can really compete with him in speed.
They are all super fast, but Sonic is the fastest.
Um so
But he's also got a massive ego, so it's really easy to bait him into race.
yeah, so we do their parents, I guess, Tom and Maddie, since they're all this kind of weird adoptive family now. Tom and Maddie give like a countdown and then they race, and I only am including this note because if you watch the animation really closely, and I know because I backed it up and watched it a couple times, they definitely hit those two. Like they're standing directly in front of them, and Sonic goes in between them, and Tails and Knuckles go on either side of them. And the way the lightens cross up, like where they show their trails, they would have definitely hit Tom and Maddie had they been real hedgehogs.
I don't know if you're familiar with hedgehogs as an animal, but they are not only not fast, but they're so small.
I wasn't saying like I was saying as if Sonic was like a physical being in that space where the actors Tom and Maddie were standing, he would have hit them.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to take your disbelief and I'm gonna need you to figure out a new and improved way to suspend it so that you can enjoy the movie.
Birthday is a dumb name. Be Earth Day, dumb name.
Oh, I think it's a pretty good pun.
Basically the race is a setup to celebrate Sonic's 1 year.
It is 1 year anniversary. I think it's his 5 year anniversary.
Celebrate the anniversary of his arrival on Earth. Some amount of time has passed.
An amount of time has passed
that I don't remember because it's been so many years since I watched the first Sonic.
God, they're so good.
They're really good. And we kind of get this. I did write one note that the dog I felt like a personal sympathy towards because it just reminded me of what our dog is going through now that our baby is born. Every time the dog was like, the dog flashes a subtitle as they're celebrating Sonic's arrival to Earth, and it says, "You stole my humans." And every time the dog had just a little stupid subtitle, it just reminded me of how our dog feels about the baby being in the household. So, we go into Sonic's old cave. Him and Tom, Donut Lord, go into Sonic's old cave where he spent the majority of his life.
Tom says bud and pal approximately 4,000 times in 2 minutes.
Is that your note?
Yes.
I did not pay that much attention because I was too busy writing a note about the being a little bit overhanded about the choices and letting the past change you, yada yada speech to set up the rest of the nonsense that will occur with Shadow and Sonic.
You mean you were so distracted by Chekhov's monologue that that you forgot to pay attention to the words?
I didn't listen to him say bud or pal or bud or
every
pal.
time he talks to Sonic, he ends his sentence with either bud or pal.
I really am glad you've told me this now.
It's dumb as fuck.
Because if you
it's one of the other reasons that I told you. I was like, the dialogue just doesn't feel up to par.
I guess I just didn't catch that, but like I said, I'm glad you're telling me now because if you told me before, I wouldn't be able to unhear it. So
we should rewatch the first couple scenes of the movie so you can see all this bullshit that I saw and you'll be like, oh man.
I mean, this is one thing that's good about this podcast in general is we see from such different viewpoints and angles and different things trigger and bother us that it's just really interesting, especially when we don't watch it together, to get here and be all like, what are you talking about?
Well, it's gonna take us all eternity to get through the movie, and we're already 17 minutes in, so let's fucking keep cranking.
So I spelled lungs wrong.
There's only 5 letters in it.
I spelled
6 letters.
I spelled lunges.
You added a whole extra letter.
I did.
Anyways,
that's not relevant. It's not important.
we're having a nice time at the picnic, and we're commenting on how it's so nice to just not have to do superhero shit for once. Cue helicopter.
Yep,
It's Gun, and they're not here to fuck up Sonic. Instead, they're like, "Please, we need you."
because Shadow we saw briefly, I think, before they arrive
Shadow got to Tokyo.
in the helicopter to get Team Sonic. Shadow is in Tokyo, and he is in his feels, and he's a little bit emo, and it's great. And
that's his state of being, permanently.
I know. I just wrote it because I'm like, do I only like Shadow because I'm a little bit emo?
Yes.
And I was like, probably. But then Gun shows up and starts like firing at Shadow and trying to catch him, and he's like, why can't you just leave me alone? And I feel like all our problems would be solved if everyone just left Shadow the fuck alone to go be his emo self. Like, that's all he wants, and that's admirable, and I understand that. Seems really simple enough. Just
well, he does also want to kill a bunch of people.
Not in that moment. Not in that second. He's just being feely.
He feels people aggressively with his fists.
He wasn't causing any problems. He was just walking down the street all emo until Gun showed up, and then he was angry. So
anyways, Gun takes Team Sonic in a helicopter to Tokyo via a portal. Because that's the thing we can do now.
Yeah. I have a note about that. Does everyone just have fucking ring tech now? Like,
I don't know, they weren't using a ring for that. It just happened and we breezed right on by.
I mean, no, but they come out of a ring portal.
Yeah, but it's not the same. The ring portals that the gang use with their rings have these big cartoonishly thick rings, just like in the video game.
This one
is thin band. It was almost like it's like Gun figured out a way to manufacture.
I was like, did they make their own rings?
That's what I would bet on, because Gun does all that super sciencey military. Gun's just Shield, but outside of Marvel.
And they especially are interested in like the Sonic crew, so I'm wondering if they got a hold of a ring and were like,
let's reverse engineer it.
Yeah,
and created their own little wormhole device.
We won't get any answers about that.
That's what I would say, is they probably created their
But
own
yeah,
portals.
I just felt like everyone just had fucking teleport shit this movie, and
Shadow canonically can teleport.
Well, yeah, he's fine, and I'll even give like Tails his rings because he had some, but like I said, I just feel like they were flying rings all over the place in this one, where before it was very much like a
use these in case of emergency.
But everybody's got them now, apparently. But I also, there was some good back and forth between Sonic and Tails and Knuckles in the helicopter. Like they were like, they asked Sonic, "What did you do when Gun picked them up?" And Sonic's like, "I don't know, I do a lot of stuff."
I have a note about that.
And I was like,
I don't know, I do a bunch of things.
I was like, damn, Sonic, you just still out there causing freaking mayhem everywhere? Like,
of course he is.
So yeah, we basically see Tokyo. It's always Tokyo in New York. Tokyo, in a massive destruction a little bit as Shadow is fighting off all the Gun people.
Successfully.
It's not really a fight. Shadow's just being Shadow. And I was just really excited to watch Shadow kick their ass. Like Team Sonic's ass. Like, he's just so badass. And we get there. See, you said the writing was cheesy, and I just kept writing down lines that I really enjoyed. Like the line Knuckles has before they like jump in to fight Shadow.
Well, every Knuckles line is the best thing I've ever heard.
Where he's like, "He's more impressive than the hedgehog I fought previously," and I'm like,
I'm standing right here.
It's just like
every Knuckles line is the best line in the movie.
It's really good.
Hands down.
So he pretty much dusts Team Sonic pretty quickly. And and Sonic chases after him, and he jumps on an appropriately sized motorcycle that came out of nowhere.
Shadow has secrets.
Or is one of those secret summoning motorcycles?
It's like the Hangman. He only shows up when it's important.
Okay. It was just like literally on the ground, and I was like, you didn't have that when you got to Tokyo, so did they bring you a motorcycle?
He also just acquired a gun.
Yeah.
Which is how it worked out in Shadow the Hedgehog, the video game. They just gave Shadow a gun.
I feel like Shadow just gets shit and gets to do whatever Shadow wants just because
pretty much
Shadow.
Yeah, he's the ultimate life form. I don't know what to tell you. So he kicks their ass.
They go on a chase, and
Sonic gets knocked out.
Yeah, after Sonic gets his ass handed to him again, Tails has them regroup, and I really enjoyed this tie-in at the Chow Garden Cafe. And I thought that was just a really great way to like loop in the Chows. No? James,
the whole sequence is so fucking funny.
Because
they talk about how great it is that they could be here to blend in, and then Commander Walters walks in full military dress and sits down in this pastel wonderland. He's in this dark military garb, and he's got 3.5 foot tall anthropomorphic creatures in there with him that he is talking to in earnest about military op shit. And he gives them basically all the exposition about Shadow's past, and
he does not give them all. He gives like
them some.
Yeah, it's like very brushed over. Like there was an accident that Shadow caused. Shadow did not cause that accident.
Then the lights go out, and it's a great 1-2 combo of the Chow Garden live show followed by a terrorist attack.
It was really well done because I felt really, I don't know how they did it, but like I viscerally felt like jarred by like the whole Chow performance and like I felt uneasy and like overstimulated. Like it was like it actually did something to my brain where I was like tripped out for a minute and I was like, what is happening? And then there was
and Tails was like, the live music.
Yeah.
And then the fucking robots
it was just
up.
Yeah, it was just like in that moment, it was so well done by the creative team because I viscerally was like, but like it was just so overwhelming. But yeah, so there are what appears to be Robotnik robots attacking Team Sonic and the General. Commander, sorry. How dare I misrank the fake military officer.
Oh man, don't do that.
Sorry.
Oh boy. Getting sleepy on the show. That's no good.
What I learned from this Sonic movie too is I don't think I ever knew Robotnik's first name. But then the Robotnik's little robot drone things are stopped by this mysterious Tron asshole on a motorcycle.
Tron asshole. He's just a motorcycist. Is every motorcyclist a Tron asshole?
No, just the way this one rode in there and did shit makes him a Tron asshole. You gotta get specific criteria.
I feel like Tron motorcycle riders just go fast.
No,
they just go real fast in straight lines, and then they try to carve out other people.
Have you seen a Tron movie?
I've played a lot of the Tron game.
Have you seen a Tron movie?
I've seen all the Tron movies.
Okay.
You go real fast.
Oh my god.
This guy does spins and shit.
So that's what they do in Tron.
I don't know. I do a lot of stuff. So.
Oh god.
Team Sonic talks to the general because he gets attacked in the attack. He gets hurt. He gives over his key card, which is basically one half of the 2 keys to this super secret badass weapon.
he said, "I only trust you with it, Sonic." And
Which
I
is
was like,
insane. That's
I
just
was like,
insane.
Sonic can't even be trusted to know where the Chaos Emerald is, and he's like one of the only people that can use it. And he can't be trusted to know where it is, and we're going to trust him with this key card?
Yeah, let's give the teenage hedgehog the nuclear launch codes, right? That's what we'll do.
And
So
I also just wrote, because this was happening after we just did all the backstory, like the mini backstory, because we get the bigger backstory about Shadow later. I was like, this movie is going through plot at like Mach fucking 5. Like, Shadow broke out and then is just nonstop, other than that little brief time down in Sonic's old cave. Like, it's just been go, 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 go.
well, it is a Sonic movie, so everything go fast. Are we sure this isn't a Tron movie?
Anyways, I also had a note about just Shadow's backstory, because we see the person who they arrest for Shadow's testing, basically, is what they say.
Looks like the professor.
Yeah, the professor, he has quills visibly in his hand.
Yep.
How? That shouldn't happen. Do you just not check prisoners' hands? Like,
I don't know if you know this. Gun sucks.
Yeah.
Gun is bad. They are bad, and they have always been bad.
I wrote briefly after...
Evil and incompetent.
I wrote briefly after when the director, Rockwell, comes in there and, like, frantically looks for the key card. I wrote, this is why we fucking never trust the government. Like...
Gun's not even the government.
Yeah, but they're government adjacent. Internationally. They're an international government agency of sorts.
What does gun stand for? I don't remember. Hold on. You keep going.
Legitimately don't know what it stands for. I was surprised I spelled it correctly and it wasn't spelled with like 2 N's or some shit. So we Team Sonic follows the guy on the motorcycle. We find out that it is Stone, who...
Guardian Unit of Nations.
See? Who is Agent Stone, who is if you don't remember, Robotnik's assistant. And so he tells them it's not Robotnik, but come with me and we'll figure it out. And they go on this giant crab thing, and Robotnik, who...
Jim Carrey is just Jim Carreying all over the place.
Was presumed dead by Team Sonic, is alive in there, and watching English, Spanish novella.
The guy who's the twins in that in-universe novella plays the only Mexican soccer player on the team in Ted Lasso.
I found it really funny that, like, they didn't even bother putting it in Spanish. Like, they could have very easily done this gag and put it in Spanish, but they just had an English novella.
The subtitles are all in Spanish.
It was just a very, like, why?
Wait, was it not in Spanish?
No! They just speak English the entire time, which is funny because Robotnik then, like, references it later and he says it in Spanish.
Yeah, he only speaks
And I'm
Spanish.
Like, is this a joke? Like, are we being funny?
I want laugh.
I was very confused. I was like, either this is on purpose or they think children are stupid. I'm not sure. But yeah, it was very much like, it just, I don't know. It was a weird thing that they did. It was a weird choice. So this is where I realized, I literally wrote, it occurs to me I never watched the Knuckles spinoff. Do I need any information from that for this movie?
Not really.
It turns out I didn't, because I didn't feel like I missed anything other than the whole Chaos Emerald nonsense. But Robotnik basically in no time or struggle at all tracks down the signal of where these fake Robotnik drones came from.
You're not going to talk about the shaving his head sequence?
He does the tracking first, and then he decides to help. Like, they decide to partner up, and that's when we do the montage. Thank you very much. Because I write.
I thought you were breezing over everything.
No. See, here, I wrote.
I can't see here you wrote because your
No.
see here I wrote are all over
Well,
there.
that's what I'm telling you. If you would let me finish, I'm telling you right now. If you look, it occurs to me.
This chair doesn't recline.
I said, love how this is in English, Lamau, and then we love a good makeover montage. And then I even wrote that the Elvis joke was really funny. Because Knuckles and Robotnik got all the good lines in this entire script.
He shaved his head for real.
Did they really?
It took him like 2 years to grow his hair out that long.
And
then they shaved his head for real.
I mean, that's what Anne Hathaway did for Les Mis. She got an Oscar for that shit, though.
Yeah, Jim Carrey just did this shit for shits and gigs.
Jim Carrey had a lot of really great moments in this movie.
After the second one, he said he was retiring unless a script like written in gold got delivered to him, and they sent him this script printed in 24 karat gold.
Is that?
And he was like, "Cool, let's do it."
Is that really what happened?
Yes.
Like, I knew the first part, but I didn't know that it was printed in gold. I thought it was like metaphorical.
They delivered him a script that the ink was gold.
That's funny. I mean, they did a really good job with Robotnik.
Yeah,
in this.
Fucking hilarious.
He's hilarious, and he gets a really good ending, question mark? I have a hard time believing that. We'll get there. We'll get there. That's episode 2. If we get bogged down in that right now, we will not make it out. So now we are teamed up with Robotnik, Team Sonic, and yes, James.
Nothing.
Oh, you made that mouth face like you were going to say something that you were annoyed with about me. There's a good Elvis joke during the makeover montage. And here's where I start to have a thing. I feel like Agent Stone and Robotnik, now Agent Stone definitely, is in love with Robotnik, and these two really just need to bang and get it over with. Like, it's so undertoned throughout their whole relationship in this movie. I didn't see it in the other two, but like in this one, I'm just like, Jesus, like, stop. You guys, like, I write about it frequently, but yeah, no, it just felt like really much like Agent Stone was just this pining lover after Robotnik for most of this movie. And
I didn't pick up on that at all. I didn't read that at all.
I just was like, I literally was like looking at them. I was like, dude, just freaking kiss. Like, get it over with. My God.
No, that doesn't. No. You are a hopeless romantic, so it makes sense that you would read that, but that's not how the story or plot or characters go, so I'm sorry.
Anyways, then we get the official flashback of Shadow.
Most of it.
Yeah, we get the official. We don't really find out. No,
we don't see the explosion until
later.
Like we see how everything went wrong.
Yeah, we get all this. We get all the sweet stuff.
We get all the nice part of Shadow's backstory right now. And this is notably different than the game.
I guess I'll let you talk about this because.
Well, no, you keep going because I don't know very much about Shadow's backstory. I'm also a light Sonic enjoyer.
I did want to watch the new Rockstars breakdown because Jessica breaks it down and she is not a light Sonic enjoyer, and I figured I would get some answers to some stuff in there, but I did not have time. So, we see this child skating through a government facility, or not government facility, a gun facility, with a box that says Maria's stuff, so we're assuming this child's name is Maria.
Yes.
I know it is now, but it's just, that was another movie. I will say this, I didn't get the dialogue overhanded so much, but I felt like there was a lot of visual stuff where I was like, I feel like we're really just really leaning into this thing. Like, it's real a lot. Um, like, I feel like the box was not properly packed just so that we could have that, like, visual that people are used to of, like, moving boxes being full of stuff. I don't know. It just felt that was one thing to me, like her whole box thing, but um she's skating along and we find out that she is the professor's granddaughter and he takes her with him everywhere, which seems like a poor choice when you work in a top secret like facility, but you know, you do you. Um and she stumbles upon on moving day, so like zero time being there, she stumbles upon probably the most like restricted section where Shadow is kept. And they have this little moment, um, and she ends up drawing on his tank. And I just wrote that that is defacement of government property, ma'am. Apparently not government, as James says, but um, and then we just get this whole montage of like Shadow and Maria just kind of like hanging out in the facility together. And I feel like we're just letting this child hang with like this top secret classified experiment that we're working on. Seems reckless and dumb. Um we one of the moments is like them like she has roller skates and she has Shadow like yank her through the facility as he's like going at top speed and they crash into something which at that speed probably would have broken at least several of her bones, but she's fine. Um and I just kind of wrote that this child's allowed to do whatever with like reckless abandon. Like no one says anything, no one stops her. And they have this really sweet moment where they're like looking at the stars and talking and he mentions that he doesn't know what he'd do without her and I wrote that he better figure that out fast. Um and then we flash forward to present day Shadow as he is in the wrecked facility where he was just currently reliving all these memories. Um and yeah.
Okay, would you like to know why the nerds are mad?
Yeah, go for it. Why are the nerds mad?
The nerds are mad because that's not Shadow's backstory.
I thought there's a Maria in the game.
Yeah.
How is it
Different,
different?
lemon different. Now,
Because I remember the. Okay, tell me how it's different. Because I remember bits and pieces, and I thought it was good. Maybe I'm
firstly, in the movie universe, Shadow came from outer space
in a
in a
meteor.
meteorite.
Yeah.
Right. That's not true. I mean, it is in the movie universe. In the games, Robotnik Senior, Senior, invented Shadow.
Okay. I
Basically, genetically engineered him as part of the experiment Project Shadow, which was meant to find the cure to the illness that Maria has. Now,
remember that. Like I remember that he was a creation of Robotnik. Like he was like basically like Stitch. Like he was an experiment.
yeah,
And then
Shadow is very much like Stitch.
I didn't remember that Maria was sick.
So Maria has this incurable disease, right? And she Shadow is created in an attempt to find a cure for that. They become close, but they live on a space station. Imagine if the weapon was already in space. The space colony Ark. Uh, the
I remember
United Federation government and the gun organization deem Shadow to be too much of a threat, much like they do in the movie. In which case they raid space colony Ark. Maria tricks Shadow into a escape pod and fires him at the Earth. Gun kills Maria.
Oh shit. I mean, well, they kind of do in the movie, but not directly.
They directly kill Maria.
Oh shit.
In the game.
I knew she died. I thought it was
Shadow goes loco insano uh, is recovered by gun and placed in suspended animation. That's all the same. Um, and a lot of the game Sonic Adventure 2 rips their plot from this movie rips its plot from that game.
Yeah.
Uh, so they a little bit different here and there. They frame Sonic for all their evil doing. Um, and towards the end of the game, Shadow allies with Sonic, like they do in the movie. Just a little different bits and pieces here and there.
Yeah, I guess
It's the movie is better tuned to be a movie. The game's plot is better tuned to be a game, which is a common thread in current video game adaptation
which people have a hard time
things.
grasping. It's not
Yes.
even video game. This has been going on
With books and whatever.
I had a whole debate about it when Mockingjay Part 1 came out, but
Sometimes you need to adjust your source material to better cater to a different creative medium. If you tried to take the Sonic Adventure 2 story and tell it as a movie, it would be an uninspired story because it's old and we've seen it all before and it would be boring.
I guess that's
You have to retool it in some other way, in this case like this, to make it more interesting and do all the fan service appropriately. So
I'm really close
that's
to
why the nerds are fucking mad, is because this iteration of Shadow is different in a lot of the ways. However, I think his overarching motivation stays the same.
I mean, it would have been a lot more prevalent if they had killed her, but also this is a children's movie, so like I get it.
The game was rated T.
I guess for
It might
me
have been rated E.
I guess for me, like, I guess that's why I didn't notice very many differences, is because like the key points were pretty much the same. So that, like I said, if you're like a light Sonic enjoyer, I would have been like, it seemed fine to me. She died. He's pissed. Like, I feel like we hit all the notes there. Like, I'm also almost halfway through, so we're just gonna keep going.
Yeah, keep going.
Robotnik and Stone have another like moment together where it really seems like Stone is pining for him, and I think it's when Robotnik leaves Stone behind, and I'm like, OMG, does he not adore him? My fanfic, no. Which is just it. This is my silly little thing that I carried through the entire thing. Yeah. I don't know what some of these notes are about, so we're just gonna skip over them.
What are your out of context notes?
This might be the cheesiest, most cliche part of the movie. Oh, that's when they're getting like sniped by Shadow, like in the tunnels, like when they separate and go off in different directions.
Oh,
and like
he spooks all three parties.
Yeah, it just felt like I've seen this so many times. And then
that one's for the kids.
And then I wrote that I like that we are not being gender specific with Robotnik's love interest. And I think that's when he's talking to Son. Oh, it's when he says
that he
repels all known genders.
Completely repellent to all known genders.
Yeah, that's what that was.
It cannot go unstated. A lot of the dialogue in the movie is cheesy and bad. Every single Eggman line and every single Knuckles line are gold.
And then
pure gold.
We get James's favorite moment in the entire movie, which is it's like we're being played by the same actor in a movie.
Yeah. The fourth wall break. There's a Eggman and Robotnik
senior.
Yeah.
The professor.
A full fourth wall break where both Jim Carreys look directly into camera and talk about how they are an actor playing both characters in a movie. It made me smile. It made me smile.
And we'll end kind of at note 50 here, which is when Eggman is trying to prove that the professor is his grandfather by asking him a bunch of scientific questions to prove that they're family. And I don't know how that proves they're related at all. That's all. That's the end of part 1. We will be back with part 2 if you're listening to us some point in the future. So, yeah. Until then.
Goodbye.
Alrighty. For our 3 people hanging out in the chat, it is time for you. I don't know why you did that.
So you can type.
I can slide my tiny hands underneath. It is time for you to vote on our next movie. Sonic 3 Part 1. Okay. Shh. I have to be quiet. The door is open. Now the door is closed. Okay, so here we go. Let me open up a new one of these before I forget. Close that one, do that. Okay, so here we go. Your choices this week are we have Wicked, because I think James watching that would be really funny. Or it's going to be super boring because it is a work of genius and cinematic marvel and he'll love it. The new Snow White, because it's a 1.6 on Rotten Tomatoes, and I had a bunch of shit to say before this movie came out, so I feel like doing that would be a great time. James requested that we put Joker. I'm not writing Folie du on there, so Joker 2. You'll know. And then, what did we just say that we were putting on here? Oh, the Puss in Boots movies. Sure, why not? Puss in Boots. Glenn? Yeah. Alright. Go ahead. Vote. We will be right back. We're going to take a break, go to the bathroom, get some water. Ignore my bed setup back here. A list of bad movies this week. At least one of these movies is good, and apparently the Puss in Boots movies are fantastic. So, hush you. Not that I'm allowed to influence the vote, but vote Wicked. Green Gorilla, you cannot just abstain from voting.
I mean, you literally can. You just don't vote.
I mean, then technically we've had this before. It just goes down to randomization. Because there was a time when Green Gorilla did not, I think, missed a recording or two, and we had to come up with a thing. So, alrighty. I was just gonna do some random number generator. C voted. Literally my, or maybe he didn't vote. Someone voted. And with that, I'm going to close the poll. It was not me. I did not vote. Hey! Free showed up. Free voted. Yay. There we go. Closed. Done.
Great.
Thanks for showing up literally in the clutch of time. James almost got out of watching Wicked. Yay! I have been waiting. I have been avoiding listening to the soundtrack around him so that he wouldn't get burnt out on it before he watches it, and I'm so excited. You didn't, I mean, you missed the first half, but the second half is here, and you showed up in time to vote, and Green Girl is being a butt and not voting for any of those movies. So you've saved the channel. And oh, I'm so excited. I'm so excited to watch it. Again, I've been waiting to. I also can't watch it on my phone because I don't have Peacock on my phone. So I'm very excited. I know, he was literally about to roll a d4. Not that Green Gorilla wants any of those movies, but yes, Wicked. You at least had a, nope, don't tell me, 25% chance that it wasn't going to be Wicked. So, yay! We also talked about recently that James says it's been 10 years. It's been 10 years. We've been together for 10 years. It's been 10 years since he watched Twilight. So we thought about maybe for episode 200, we would go back and, oop, drop my ring. Rewatch the first Twilight for the 200 episode. There's 3 options floating for 200 episode right now. Where it's going to be 50 Shades Darker and a selection of Glee episodes or Twilight. So those are kind of the 3 we're floating around right now. We'll probably put it up to a vote for you guys of which torture we will do. But yeah, that's some amount of movies away. I haven't done a count in a little bit, but I don't think we're close to 200. All right, you ready? The chat is fighting amongst itself about Green Gorilla missing his channel points to buy votes and Bree showing up in the nick of time to make you watch Wicked, so.
I didn't ask to watch the Gay Witch movie. I didn't want to watch the Gay Witch movie.
It's a cinematic masterpiece, and I'm not the only one who says so. It's like canonically recognized as one of the greatest films right now.
There's gonna be gay witches in it.
They are canonically straight.
What about when part 2 comes out? Shit.
Then they're definitely straight.
Are we sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Are they out there fucking dudes?
I mean, it's a family musical, so no one does fucking, but
well, like not on camera,
obviously. One of them gets engaged to a dude, the other witch is with a dude who doesn't love her and loves another witch, and
getting engaged
the
to
other
a man, pretty gay.
Yes, it's only on Peacock. Or you can rent it for an expensive amount. It's not that expensive. It's like $20 from Amazon.
You remember when Blockbuster
or you could
was
buy it for $20 from Amazon.
All right, let's finish the show.
What happened to you? You like had a mini
I
stroke
was
back there
reminiscing about a better time.
when you could go and rent movies.
Blockbuster.
Yeah, you still had to pay for those.
Yeah, but you weren't spending $20 to rent a motherfucker. You were spending like $5 to rent a motherfucker.
They with Wicked, they said we know what we have. I almost waterboarded myself.
Just have a moral obligation to dislike Cynthia.
Can you not separate the artist from the art? I was just having this conversation with somebody about J.K. Rowling the other day.
Sometimes you can. But for all of the Harry Potter movies and books, it's difficult not to see what a bigot she is through all the art. It's like red flags all over the place.
Anyways, I went a lot of places in my brain.
She was bad before the mold.
I told
Now she's bad and fucking crazy.
I've been telling people about the black mold.
She's losing her fucking mind as the cordyceps takes over her brain. She will become the last of us. She will.
She's patient zero.
The mushrooms have taken her. They will soon come for us all.
But instead of turning you into a zombie, they just turn you into a bigot.
They turn you into a madman.
Check your phone. I'm assuming he's meaning you because I can't do that. We have no contact. It's been probably half a decade at this point, and we have no way of contacting each other. What? That's funny. That's a dumb joke.
Watch your tea. You're gonna knock that shit over. Moving your fucking notebook.
I'll knock you over.
Yeah, all right.
Cross off Wicked. I need to remember when I made this list because our other list was so all over the place, and now this list is all over the place. I need to reorganize it. You're gonna like it.
I don't like musicals.
So many people who don't like musicals have seen it and said it's good. They cried.
I don't cry.
It's not a happy cry.
I cried today.
See, you do cry. There's a heart in there.
Yeah.
You're not the Tin Man.
Because of all the soldiers who died, and we were soldiers, and they had to deliver the fucking they didn't deliver the telegrams to the wives.
Were you watching Hope porn again?
No, it was so sad. I don't cry for happy things.
Oh.
In the movie, we were soldiers. When the gang gets shipped out and they go fight in Vietnam, the army wasn't prepared for them all to get slaughtered so hard, and so they didn't have officers delivering the telegrams about the soldiers' deaths. They had cab drivers doing it, and it pissed off the wives so much that they ordered the cab drivers to just deliver all of the telegrams about dead soldiers to one wife's house, and she would go deliver them herself so that the wives wouldn't have to see fucking cab drivers show up to let them know their husbands were dead.
The mic's cutting out on you a lot, apparently.
Fuck.
You gotta scoot closer and... Ow!
I was scooting closer.
Yeah. I see that.
Now I'm closer.
You stop hitting me.
We need a wide-angle lens. So anyways, that was really sad.
Are we gonna talk about Sonic?
I don't know. I've been waiting for you to start the episode.
Okay. I need to find where we are in this freaking...
We just got to the...
I guess here. Here.
Yeah, we're gonna get to the professor explaining...
Because, they just met and they did their whole figuring out who they were. Okay. 3, 2, 1... I have no idea how to start this.
Well, I guess we could do it like that.
Yeah. Sometimes I watch the little counter go, and I try to get it like an intro in by 3, and I just watched it go past 3, and I went brain words, and it was like nothing, and I was like, we watched Sonic, and it was like, that's cool. Yeah, nothing, and I was like, okay, and now we're here.
Yeah, sometimes you hit record and my brain just goes, I'm all done. I'm off shift. I can't be bothered. And by sometimes I mean every single time we record an episode.
Unless you come in, sometimes you come in with like a pre-worked up rant that you're going to do.
Probably gonna do it about Wicked and how there's no gay witches in it.
Oh my god, we're watching Wicked next. This is not that though. This is Sonic 3. We're not gonna start off this episode talking about Wicked like we somehow started off the last episode. I'm America. That's James. This is CityWavesCinema. Someday maybe we'll script an intro so that this doesn't happen.
Impossible. It's part of our charm.
So
we're in the abandoned gun facility.
And we find
Shadow has spooked all of Team Sonic and Agent Stone, and
we find out that Robotnik is
Eggman's great-grandfather. No. Just grandfather.
Just grandfather. And
just grandfather. Which would mean, I was thinking about this the whole time I was watching the movie, Maria and Eggman would be around the same age, give or take a few years.
They also are related.
I mean, yeah.
In
some way.
Like either by cousins or siblings or something. And
we just don't know.
And then I have questions of why didn't Robotnik get to go to the secret government facilities and hang out?
Because he's a nerd.
Like, why was Maria so special?
Well, I mean, clearly Gerald fucking loves Maria more.
But, like, where was Robotnik during all this? And how does he not know about Maria? Like, I feel like there's just a
preschool. I don't know. It isn't important.
I feel like someone in the Sonic verse, Sonic fandom knows, and I'm going to need you to go to the CityWavesCinema social media or CityWaves Entertainment social media and tell me, because I have questions.
Maybe just ask Jim Carrey.
Boys, sorry, our live chat just said something. Boys get into mischief. Did we not watch the same montage of this chick just running with reckless abandon through the facility with the experiment by her side? Because that happened. Boys get into mischief. All right.
Are you mad because the statement didn't include that girls can also get into mischief? Or are you mad because in this specific movie, we don't see boys get into mischief? We exclusively see the only child in the movie who is a little girl get into mischief. Although it could be considered that Sonic is a little boy and Tails is a little boy and they get into mischief the whole time. And Knuckles is not a little boy, but does get into mischief the whole time. Violent mischief.
You done?
I'm just saying.
Would you like me to tell you why I'm mad about the
No,
statement?
I don't give a shit. Can we just do the...
Then why did you take all the time? Why are you filibustering the podcast over here?
Content, baby, content.
Anyways, so we find out that also, as well as all these other facts, that Robotnik Sr. is 110 years old. This will not be explained and no questions will be answered at this time.
We can only assume it's because of Alien Shadow's quill that he snuck into prison with him.
Quills. Plural. He had several.
I only saw the one, but maybe.
These are great. This is a great performance by Jim. All around. Both characters great. Jim 110. Get it. Eggman is so excited about having a relative that, like...
someone that he could have a familial connection with.
That he's, like, skipping around the facility, and it's just great. So apparently, the professor / Robotnik Sr. is named Gerald.
Yes.
Who explains that the key card is one of 2 needed to activate the Eclipse cannon, which also, by the way, Shadow just takes the key card from Sonic with, like, nary a struggle, so I don't know why we ever thought entrusting it to Sonic was a good idea. Repeated.
We did not. Commander Walters did.
And he said you're the only one. Okay. So the eclipse cannon isn't orbiting. It's not orbiting right now,
No.
apparently. And
It's in the River Thames.
yeah,
English is dumb.
but like even when he was explaining it, I thought it was already like in the sky.
It's an orbital cannon that has not been launched into orbit yet.
Anyways, it's a space weapon because yeah. He designed it for Gunn in order to get released from prison. That's how the justice system works. Not even joking. It's capable of
That's literally 1-to-1 how we got all those Nazi scientists to work in NASA.
Mm-hmm. That's why I said it's not even joking.
We were like, hey, you want to make rockets for us instead of the Fourth Reich? We'll forgive you for your war crimes.
I mean, they even do it in small scale for like those kids that hack the Pentagon and shit. They're like, hey,
Right.
you want to come do that, but for us?
What if we pay you 6 figures to not hack the government? And instead you counter hack the government.
So,
anyways,
the space weapon, the Eclipse cannon, is capable of destroying and targeting and destroying any location on Earth.
It's actually capable of way fucking more than that.
Yes, but all he tells us at this point is that it's capable of targeting and destroying any location on Earth.
Yeah.
And like not just like a pinpoint destruction, like at least like a couple city blocks destruction.
He basically designed it for Gunn to be an orbital fast strike weapon.
So he tells us that he's got plans to use it to destroy Gunn's headquarters in London because him and Shadow both want to avenge Maria's death. So
Eggman is like, sure.
He's like, yes, Granddad, let's go. And Shadow activates a mini black hole to destroy the base as like the Robotniks and Stone all bounce. Here's my thing. Why the fuck do we need an eclipse cannon when we can just create mini black holes that take out entire mountains?
Because maybe they only have mini black holes that can only do mountains. Maybe they can't do the whole planet. Maybe they can't do the whole city.
Okay. I see now, because I was operating, when I wrote this note, I was operating under the assumption that we were just going to go destroy the headquarters, in which case our tiny black hole would definitely do the trick.
Sure.
I forgot that wasn't the actual plan.
Yeah.
And I didn't know that when I wrote the note.
And maybe they only had the one. And getting rid of the evidence of where you and your creation were holed up.
And eliminating Team Sonic.
It's basically your loose end tire upper. Anyways, we find out Knuckles has muscles for teeth. And they use a ring to escape the black hole.
Again, so many rings will be tossed around with careless abandon.
It's their next to last ring.
We did miss a note that I wrote that came from Gerald, which is he mentions that Team Sonic, no one asked you for your unsolicited exposition, and it's
like a 3.5 wall break.
The notes are like not the notes. The dialogue is so good at some of these points that I like just kept taking notes so that I could remember them.
The movie's so fucking good.
Because sometimes I'll write down like that I laughed or something was funny, and I don't always write down why, but I made sure this time to write down every single time when it was funny. So one of those other things is it's apparently going to take some time.
4 hours.
To do what we're going to go do at the gun headquarters. And so Gerald, the professor, Robotnik Sr., asks Ivo, Eggman, what he wants to do, like if he could have one perfect day with his grandpappy, what he would do. And they do this virtual reality montage.
It's so good.
And my number one thing was like the whole thing's really funny and really good, and we get some more jilted lover Stone moments. But what I really wanted to call out about this montage was there was a Grinch callback in it, and it really made my heart just happy to have the
What was
Jim.
the Grinch call out?
He launches himself at the Christmas tree. I mean, he
Oh,
launches
yeah,
himself
yeah.
at Santa, but he falls into the Christmas tree
The
again.
Christmas tree tackle.
And it made my Jim Carrey fan heart happy. We then flash to see what Tom and, please hold, Maddie have been up to. Dude, I don't remember their names. They are so not important to
Donut Lord
any
and Maddie.
any of the movies.
They have taken to not needing to be superheroes, and they have done. It was a mockery of the COVID
It was
activities that people do, because they were knitting. They were making
sourdough.
a million sourdoughs.
They did puzzles and painting. They're also
bored as fuck.
They're also that classic, like, yes, the kids are out of the house. We can do all these things that we've always wanted to do.
They did all of them, and they were like, "This shit sucks."
And yeah, you realize, well, this is I didn't. Where are the children? We've been doing these things for too long. So they're just hanging out, and then Team Sonic bursts into the living room through the ring portal, and we get
another incredible Knuckles moment. So all three of them are chained to a bit of concrete from the gun facility that they just escaped from, and they appear in the living room. Knuckles facing the couch that Tom and Maddie are on.
And he's also the tallest, so
yes.
Tails and Sonic can't touch the ground.
So he's holding the whole thing up because he's made of muscles. 1,000,000% muscle, as we know, because he says it 100 times. And Sonic starts talking to Tom as though he's looking at Tom, but he's not. And it's just, you just see Knuckles. And he's just standing there grimacing. And then Sonic stops his exposition and asks Knuckles to turn so that he can face Tom and Maddie. And Knuckles goes, "Oh, excuse me," and rotates around and just looks surly in the other direction. So fucking good, dude.
You're probably gonna love the Knuckles show.
I want to watch it now. I forgot it existed.
Not even forgot. You thought it was a movie. You didn't know it existed.
I didn't know anything about it. The cast for the whole thing is so good. Idris Elba as Knuckles is phenomenal.
All three of the cast.
And Keanu Reeves as Shadow is phenomenal.
He disappears into the role. Like, I don't feel like it's Keanu. That's not true. Sometimes I look at him and go, okay, Keanu. So what I loved about, they basically formulate a plan through holographic trial as Tails kind of breaks down what they're looking at here, because he magically has the schematics to the gun headquarters.
Tails can do literally anything with gadgetry.
Yeah, I know.
It's his super alien power.
Yeah, I know.
Sonic, go fast. Tails is a wizard.
He's a tech wizard.
Which is like the Wizard of Oz.
But none of that really matters as much as the fact that Knuckles is just wearing a knitted hat during the entire thing.
He is. I noticed it at the very end. I was like, when did he put that on?
He has it for the entire little like bit there, and I'm just like, I don't care what they're saying. Knuckles is in a little knitted hat. He's got a little knitted beret.
Guys, I cannot express enough how much you need to watch all of the Sonic movies because they're all so goddamn good.
They're just good brain candy too. Like, in the world, in the state of things that being that they are, if you need
a happy little time,
just go watch the Sonic movies, man. And then also Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers, because that's also good.
Fucking good.
But yeah, no, the Sonic movies, I don't think any of them, anytime we watch them or review them, every single time, we don't really have anything bad to say. I have some nitpicky moments here and there, but like, overall, they're just so fucking funny, and they're so good, and they're so just happy brain times. I do have a lot of issues with the rest of this movie, because we get to the point where like, this is a kids movie, so we're just gonna yada yada the fuck out of a lot of this shit, and not really think about the specifics of how we're breaking into this facility and yada. Like, it's just a very much of like, I wrote, how are they going to plant this USB?
They yada yada Tom and Maddie's part, and they go into great detail about Sonic and Tails and Knuckles parts.
I also was like, I literally wrote this works and barely an inconvenience. Like,
When did we get the disguise chips? First of all. Second of all,
you. I was like, where the fuck did that tech come from?
being that it's just a yes.
No, go ahead, continue, because I have a question.
Okay. Being that it's just sort of a silly video game type movie, I do not ask the questions like where did we get the stuff or how did this work or why. It's supposed to be video gamey. It's supposed to be dumb and things happen that aren't expected and things don't make sense. Like that's the point of movie. So when you have a little button on your collar that you can tap and turn into looking like anyone else, I don't question it. I just go, okay, that's a thing we do now. Sure. Sure. Why not?
All right, fine. I'll ignore the magic tech and barely an inconvenience of this all aside.
Yeah.
I don't remember, and forgive me, because again, it's been some time. I don't remember Maddie's sister working for Gunn.
Yes, she did work for Gunn.
Okay. And her hubby
and her husband
also works for Gunn.
Yes.
I remembered that not at all until
that was, I believe, in Sonic 2.
I knew that.
Goodness gracious, girl, the yawns.
I'm tired. I've had a rough day. No, I just didn't remember that at all. So, we get a nice millennial joke where they're plugging the USB in and it doesn't work, and they blow on it.
Just blow on it.
And then they plug it in and it works. And that's a joke for the parents. Ugh. The parents in the room, which are millennials, are the parents now. It's fine. Shadow is so great. I don't know what that's in reference to, but that's my next note. Doesn't fucking matter. So we do this whole heist, and it's at this point, after they plug in the USB, that we find out that the Robotniks are already in there. They're on their way, and no explanation, none whatsoever will be given to how they did that, but they're there.
Listen, every single thing Gerald does in the movie is so mind-bogglingly video game villain that like you cannot contrive an explanation as to how anything he does happens or works. How did you build the nuclear space cannon? How did you design the nuclear space cannon besides having a massive brain?
He designed it on his walls.
How do you have the weird glove tech that just does stuff in your base? Like,
how are you 110 years old?
How are you exactly? It's so video gamey that like this movie, more than some other ones where we've talked about suspension of disbelief, grabs you by your lapel and shakes you until you give up your suspension of disbelief.
That's physically impossible for me.
Oh, it must be so sad to watch movies as you.
Sometimes.
It's not fun, is it?
Sometimes.
That's a shame.
Other times, I fall in love with Cinderella movie from Amazon, and I don't have.
It's such a dog shit piece of fucking hot trash movie. I saw a clip of it roll through my TikTok, and I wanted to throw my phone through a wall. I got so mad. She was sitting on the fucking statue, and she just yammers at the king after he's like, "Would you get off my fucking statue?" And she's just like, "What if you had bleachers?" Oh, shut the fuck up.
Put some bleachers in the back for us poor short peasants.
What if you shut the fuck up? Okay. What if you weren't this way? What if you fucked off to hell forever? Okay? Nothing against the actress, but my god, that movie sucked so much fucking ass. Listen, Sonic 3 is so goddamn good that if you wanted a rant out of me in this episode, it had to come at the expense of a different movie that is much worse that we've already reviewed on this show.
I love Sonic, and I love Cinderella. It's not a good movie.
This one is, and you can't suspend your disbelief for the fun of the video game.
Anyways, no, So then we get this. We flash the Robotniks, and they're about to go through the laser maze, which is in there. If you watch the movie, you'll know. And
God damn, this is so fun.
They have these suits that Eggman designed.
This is also the second, the laser maze portion with the suits is the second half of both Robotniks trying to out evil each other.
And so,
all right, I thought it was important.
I don't know what you mean by that. So, anyways, they have these suits that apparently just bounce the lasers off of them, but the suits don't cover their heads. So, don't worry, that doesn't matter. But that's the only negative note I have to say about this fucking fantastic scene, because the rest of it is absolutely pure fucking gold. Like, I even wrote, you know what? I don't care if this is feasible. It's wonderful to watch. Like, it's
such a good choreography.
They dance their way through the lasers, and it's just Jim Carrey doing both parts and being the utmost.
They sing the song too. They sing "Galvanized" by the Chemical Brothers. It's so fucking fun.
I am there. Like, I am here for the Robotnik laser dance. Like,
so good. It's a callback to Ocean's 12.
You would know.
Because that's what, when I think of laser maze sequences, there are a few of them in cinema. But in Ocean's 12, there's one where Vincent Cassel puts in his earbuds and dances through to a tune that is electro beats with violins. He dances through the random generated laser maze, avoiding all the lasers the whole way very athletically, and it's a very cool scene. And then it's in this one, it's like that, only they just straight up don't ignore the lasers at all. They just sort of like dance around in the room and then carry on. Literally a dance break.
I talk about wasted things. You made me watch the Oceans movie before we started this podcast.
Oh my god, yeah.
I watched all of them.
You could have had so many notes about how I said every line in the movie as it happened very quietly under my breath, because I know every word of those movies by heart.
Oh, James is to Oceans as America is to Harry Potter.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, I know those movies forwards and backwards.
Soderbergh Oceans movies, man.
It's the only reason
in my brain.
It's the only reason that we watched Ocean's 8 on this one, is because I'd seen all the other ones. But
yep.
So then we get to Sonic not being patient as per usual, and rushing forward to break into the facility.
It's actually a good thing that he does go early, because if he didn't, he wouldn't make it.
To stop the Robotniks from getting the key card. And he has a cool little British tour moment where he like does the Abbey Road thing. And I only wrote it down because he goes, Paul, John. Oh god, I just forgot them all.
The other one is Ringo.
I know the other one is Ringo, which is why I was making the joke, but it's Paul, John.
And then those other guys. I don't like the Beatles, so.
Dalton's favorite was always Ringo, so like I remember Ringo, but like suddenly I forget the other one. Anyways, not important, but he does a little Abbey Road bit. He makes a Harry Potter reference. He does a bunch of little
which way to Hogwarts
bits here and there. He steals the crown jewels, and there will be no repercussions for that.
He undresses a palace guard, no repercussions for that.
And then he gets to the shield, and the shield is closing around the facility, and he's not gonna make it, and he's not gonna make it. But somehow Tails can make it to where Sonic is,
and then throw him.
Do spin move, and then throw him through the hole, and then he makes it, because that's
aliens.
Faster
video game
than Sonic just going through the hole.
Aliens.
And then when Sonic gets in there, suddenly there's no lasers. And there will be no...
I still am not entirely sure how that energy shield works, or why it was open and then started to close. They didn't trigger an alarm or nothing. Like nothing. No, we don't know. They yada the fuck out of all of it. Okay, and that's fine because movie go fast, have good lines.
And then we get to the room where the key card is, and suddenly the Robotniks are slammed on the ground, and Sonic is hovering in the air because the
Director
director,
Rockwell.
thank you, Rockwell, shows up and is like, "We knew you guys were coming," and I was like,
It's a trap. I've got gravity fields.
"The gravity fields will be a funny bit that
The
does
gravity
happen."
fields also will work until they don't.
I had a note about that because
It's the only thing I was like, okay, come on.
so they have two different ones. Red is forces you down to the ground till, and this is said by
to the
multiple
point
people,
you cannot move.
cannot move. And then the green lifts you up in the air, and Knuckles breaks the pad after he breaks the glass in case of emergency, and which was his whole part in the plan.
Knuckles exists just to punch through the energy shield.
And which is apparently not Knuckles proof, but that's
It's Sonic proof.
I had a note about that. I was like, okay, so the energy shield is pointless. Like, why is it there? And so it was a really interesting bit. And then we get to the point. The key card has been knocked onto the ground in between Eggman and Director Rockwell. And suddenly, for the pure amount of doing the bit, they are able to move. They cannot fully get off the ground, but they can scooch comedically across the floor to the key card. And that was really I if I had to pick like one moment where I was like, this is the worst part of the movie, it's that. Because it was just like
they establish the rules and then immediately break them.
And like
and not for any good reason, because neither person gets the controller.
And eventually the gravity's broken anyways, and like think they just get the card without a struggle. So like I felt like the whole bit
Sonic having to work so hard to escape the gravity.
Meanwhile, Robotnik lifts his whole butt
shimmying.
Up. Yeah. And I was just like, we're contradicting ourselves like all at the same time.
Yeah, it's the only genuinely like, okay, bad writing, bad part of the movie.
This was my whole note. I said, this is really funny, but the idea is they can't move at all. So either those two are the strongest people ever to fight against the gravity technology, even when the super hedgehogs can't, or bullshit. Like, that was my whole note. Director Rockwell ends up getting the key card after the gravity is fixed, and she says, secure the room. And I just wrote, secure the room. There's a giant fucking hole in the ceiling.
Big fucking hole.
And then Shadow shows up for reasons. As Tom is making his escape with the key card,
having used his disguise-o-meter button to become Commander Walters, who is dead.
And no, he's just in intensive care. He hasn't died yet.
Oh, is he? Oh.
Yeah, they make it.
I thought he was fucking dead.
He should be. I made a note that old man should definitely have been dead after that whole thing fell on him. But according to the dialogue, one line of dialogue, he is alive.
All right.
But which is why if he was dead, James, she wouldn't have given him the key card.
I know. I thought it was weird.
So Shadow thinks that Tom is Commander Walters.
Who locked him in stasis 50 years ago.
And punches him. And should have killed Tom.
I read a note that they did, when writing the script, consider killing off Tom. But they decided that because it was going to be mostly kids watching the movie, they were like, maybe we shouldn't. And then they will proceed to kill Gerald later.
I wrote, it's one of those things though, like it's kind of like Disney movies. It's okay as long as you don't actually see them die.
We watched Gerald disintegrate.
No, we watched the explosion. We don't actually see him.
Yes, we do. He goes out with a fart directly into the energy wall.
I'm saying, but like getting punched by someone who's supposed to be the good guy versus like they do the same thing with Mother Gothel where she like falls out of the tower and then just explodes into dust, or like the bad guy in Beauty and the Beast.
Gaston.
Thank you. When he falls off the tower. Like there's lots of like you don't see the full extent of the demise.
Disney's obligated to treat everyone with kid gloves, and I think that's fine.
I did write though, I was like, if Tom dies, this will be one of the greatest movie franchises ever. Like, if they had
Yeah, but
done
if
it,
Tom dies, then Sonic has to commit to his vengeance bit, and then he doesn't get to have his redemption.
I mean, he doesn't know that Tom's gonna live when he does his whole little redemption bit.
You're not wrong.
Um, Jim is too good in this movie. And then I wrote this poor fucker in regards to Agent Stone because they just fully leave his ass behind as they go to destroy the planet. Just tell him you love him, for crying out loud. How did they? Here's a question I have, and this isn't just about Sonic. These giant ass machines underwater. How the fuck do we build this shit without anyone noticing? Like, just as a general statement, because this isn't the only movie where this happens.
Well, the River Thames is notably fucking disgusting and horrible to look at and dark and murky, and so you can't see under the water, but you could get some divers with masks down there and start building infrastructure.
Is that how they build bridges? Do they like?
It's how sometimes they do, yeah.
Okay.
You can just get divers down in there to establish the anchors and shit.
Like I said, it wasn't just a Sonic. It was like a more like
you remember that video game that we played? What's it called?
Subnautica. Yeah.
And how it's a gimmicky video game tool, but they basically use like a build a base tool to manufacture the stuff under there. Imagine if you manufactured the stuff up on land and then you just dump it in the water and you swim it to where it goes and you fasten it there.
Okay. Thank you.
I am not an expert in underwater
engineering.
So I need to clear that up before they come for me.
We get a third act party conflict as Sonic in his feels kind of shuts down his friends and goes and gets the Chaos Emerald, who is given to Tom's brother. That's who that is, right? I don't really remember who that character is in this movie franchise.
Wade Whipple?
Yeah.
No, he's just another cop.
Okay.
He's like the only other cop in the town.
Oh, in the town. Which is who Knuckles
hangs out with for that whole show.
And who Knuckles deems as the person who gets to protect the Chaos Emerald, which is one of the most powerful tools. And
he uses it to play roller hockey.
There's so many things. So we also then get a bunch of news posts as we see this giant thing rising into the sky. A bunch of news position about the Robotniks and everything. And they have a photo of Eggman when he still had his long hair and shit and he was all grimy. And I'm like, how did you obtain that photo? Just randomly.
Questions that do not have answers.
Shadow gets a bit of a moment here where he's like, are you sure this is what Maria would have wanted? No, Shadow. This is not what Maria would have wanted.
But he chose anger.
She said Earth was your home, you dumb hedgehog. So Shadow, basically this is where we get the big reveal that Gerald has been lying to Eggman. I gotta stop calling them Robotniks because they're both Robotniks. Gerald has been lying to Eggman, and his and Shadow's plan is to have Shadow actually supercharge the cannon, and then the cannon will be able to destroy the entire planet and them.
Yes, it's a suicide run.
And that's their big plan.
Yep. Robotnik is so caught up in
his feels.
Yep, that he wants to destroy the everything.
So they're in the middle of doing this whole process as Sonic goes Super Saiyan and is flying towards them. And it is at this point that the blue quill that Eggman took off Sonic as payment for helping them,
Turns yellow as well.
waits for the perfect scripted moment to turn yellow. Not when Sonic decided to absorb the Chaos Emerald. No, no, no. Right now. When it's convenient for it to turn yellow. And you could say it's proximity to the hedgehog. No. Um,
We could say a lot of things, but we're not going to because video game. Oh no, you got lost in the notes again.
no, I didn't. I was just thinking about everything that happened. So we get a little fight.
A little fight. They fight across the entire globe.
I know, but like in the scheme of time, it's not very long.
Yeah.
We get this fight between Sonic and Shadow. And even in like full Golden Sonic mode, like Shadow's still kind of kicking Sonic's ass.
It should be noted that in both iterations of the Sonic universe, game and movie, Shadow is better than Sonic.
Yeah.
Sonic's just very fast.
Yeah, but I mean, the whole thing about Golden Sonic is like he should, and I know this is different, but like he should be untouchable. He's a god in that moment, and so for Shadow,
He's touchable.
For Shadow to be able to keep pace with him not in god mode is crazy, just from a logistics standpoint. But then Shadow gets to go to god mode, so it really doesn't matter. And they continue their fight and split the moon. This is a glossed over fact.
That happens way later. What?
What?
Split the moon?
Yeah, and they're fighting when they're both Golden Sonic.
They don't split the moon yet. The laser cuts the moon. They just crash into the moon. And then they leave the moon.
Okay, fine.
And Shadow tries to get Sonic to kill him because he won the fight. And Sonic goes, no, because Longclaw and love is better than revenge. And then Shadow has a change of heart and agrees to help stop the cannon. And they both go Super Saiyan and literally just exist in the beam, stopping it from destroying the Earth.
Anyways, they're fighting. And then we flash over to the Robotniks, where we get Eggman has a change of heart, and he is deciding that he's going to save the world. And
well, first he has his own fight.
That's what I'm talking about. Okay. Mainly because I wanted to talk about his line about hate watching the Green Lantern. But it's fine. We can just continue. So yes, both the Robotniks decide to fight each other, and that's happening as they both whip out gadgets and fight. And so then we flash back to the Sonic Shadow fight where they have crashed into the moon and are now kind of sitting there in their feels. Sonic's calmed down. Shadow has also calmed down. They're kind of realizing that, hey, we're more alike than we thought. And oh, Maria wouldn't want me to destroy the planet and all this stuff. And then they were both blinded as the sun rose over the earth and they stared into it. So every Robotnik scene is gold. We get a whole bunch of just funny quips and moments in their fight, like the defense moment. I mentioned the Green Lantern one. They also made a rule about not harming the mustache, and then later, Eggman will just break that rule. I did make a note about it that, hey, you guys agreed on no mustache damage during the fight.
Yeah, but they are villains, so.
I did write that if this was a video game level, I would bomb ass at this level of the video game when Sonic and Shadow do team up and they go to fight the many robots that fly out of the thing. I was like, I would fail miserably at this level of the video game. It reminds me of that one where of the level where Sora and the gang go down into like in the Kingdom Hearts 2 and there's just like an entire giant field of Heartless that you have to fight through, and I was just like, no, I'd give it to James. I'd give the controller to James and I'd be like, you finish. You finish it. I'm all done.
That's especially funny because I quit multiple Kingdom Hearts games to make you finish them.
You would always quit at the boss battles, though. I always quit at the stupid, like, in between fucking giant horde fights that I'm like, I don't want to do it. It's so long. It takes so much button pressing. We get a little Star Wars moment as Eggman is hanging off uh
The walkway
of the Eclipse cannon, and Gerald is standing over him, and they have this whole moment until Eggman falls through, rescued by Tails, who magically appears all of a sudden. Also, both Robotniks would be dead because they cracked a hole into their spaceship, and space air was just pressurization was gone. There no oxygen in space. Anyways, but that's not important to anyone in this universe, apparently. Neither is burning up in the atmosphere, but I digress. So I just wrote, "Oh yeah, sure," ×2, and I don't even know what that was about. Sonic and Shadow will survive absorbing the freaking like blocking the laser with their arms. This laser that's supposed to be able to now is charged up to destroy the entire planet. Sonic and Tails can block. Or not Sonic and Tails, Sonic and Shadow can block with their hands.
Imagine, if you will,
oh my god,
for some of our older crowd, if Luke Skywalker and Darth Vader stood or floated in the beam of the Death Star and just inhibited it from obliterating the planet. It's like that. That's what happened.
And
they used all the force that there was to not die.
Yeah.
All the midichlorians.
That's not what that is. Anyways, so yes, James is right. Then the beam of the Eclipse cannon like they get it turned enough that
Hey, we glossed over Robotnik's death.
Not yet.
Yes.
Not yet.
Yes.
Nope.
Yes.
Would you let me talk? Because they turn the beam and then it's still going to explode and they have to push it away from the Earth.
No?
Yes.
They don't turn the beam until after, like...
Okay.
When Tails saves
Robotnik,
in the same moment, he kills Gerald.
Oh.
In the same scene, they don't even cut.
Sorry.
You thought I was talking about Eggman dying?
Yes.
Yeah, no, Gerald.
Yes, I'm with you now.
Okay, so we've glossed over an important key moment in the film.
I guess it didn't matter to me. Gerald dies.
Killing a whole character didn't matter? Jesus fuck. Okay.
I don't even remember how he dies.
Oh, well, allow me to fucking run you through this one because it's the silliest, dumbest, funniest thing in the movie.
Go for it.
Eggman falls.
Yes.
Having his hand crushed by his grandfather in the final act of the competition of pure evil. Just kidding, not the final. Tails saves him, drags him up. Eggman says some quippy line and uses the God mode Sonic Quill to jam directly into his grandfather's asshole. Not kidding. Right into his ass. There is a fart sound, and Gerald is launched at 1,000 miles an hour directly into the charged up energy field that Shadow created by running at 1,000,000 miles an hour earlier in the film. He is disintegrated into dust in front of our very eyes. And then, after the cannon fires, because they can't do anything to stop it, The hedgehogs in God mode block the beam. The only surviving Robotnik now, Eggman, Knuckles, and Tails, all try to haul on the controls to angle the beam away.
Which is when the moon is cut.
Which is when the moon is cut. You lost the plot somehow, and we've got it back. But yes, they do that, and on the way,
my only issue is
Sonic and Shadow pass out and fall away.
No, Shadow's fine. Sonic passes out.
Yes.
Shadow's still in God mode. Sonic is not somehow. But my whole thing is, this is, if you know anything about science, the moon is very important, and there will be no, that we know of, repercussions for slicing it with the death ray. And that just feels like a really big thing for the movie to gloss over. So
I'm pretty sure in the game they blow up the moon.
Why does...
I'm pretty sure Robotnik blows up the moon.
And maybe this is answered in the game, and I just don't know. But why does Shadow have to lose his bracelets to push the space station away?
They're his inhibitors. They inhibit his power.
Got it. So he
probably couldn't access God mode until he took them off.
Well, I mean, he did. He absorbed the Chaos Emerald and was in, so he was, in demigod mode, and then he goes into God mode, basically?
Yes.
If you, just to break it down for my brain, he's freaking insane level hedgehog. Then he's in, demigod mode because he absorbs the Chaos Emeralds, and then he takes off his inhibitors, and he's God mode?
Yes.
Did he put the inhibitors on himself? Is that something Gunn does?
I think Gunn made them for him, but he clearly can take them on and off at will.
Yeah.
So I think he probably had unchecked power because he is clearly the most powerful being in that universe.
Why wouldn't he take them off when he escaped?
Because he doesn't need to.
That's an ego. All right. I also I wrote, this is kind of epic, and then I also was when Eggman died, I did write the love of his life. No, because Agent Stone, he has that whole speech to Agent Stone, and Agent Stone cries, and it's just the lovers that shall never be. There is fan fiction somewhere out there for this, I'm sure. I'm not the only one. There is Agent Stone Eggman fanfic out there.
He does. In the game, he uses the arc cannon to destroy half the moon.
Okay, so that's
canon. And there
canon.
will be no repercussions.
That's canon.
Yeah, they literally fan serviced by slicing off the bottom chunk of the moon.
I wrote everyone would survive this before I found out that
not everyone survives this.
Not everyone survives this, and I was like, oh shit. So at least as we wrap up the movie, Tom lives, because
Maddie lives,
of course. All three of our protagonists live. They're fine.
Yep.
Shadow and Eggman are presumed dead because they were in a giant explosion. I say presumed, and I will get to that. And the poor dog is sad because his humans give all the attention to the hedgehogs. And that's kind of where the movie wraps up.
Until it doesn't.
Until we get two credit scenes.
One is in the very early stages.
One is mid-credits, and one is end credits, because we're apparently fucking Marvel all of a sudden. The first mid-credit scene, teases
Metal Sonic
and Amy. Because we're just gonna run through every character in the Sonic universe.
There's so many, we don't have time.
Till we stop making money. And then we get the end credit scene where Robotnik is still probably dead. Let's be real. And I really hope they do keep it that way. It was a very nice ending for the character.
And it sunsets Jim Carrey's career on a high note.
It was a really beautiful ending scene. It was good all around. It was great. Yeah. But Shadow's alive. Period. Like, he just lived.
I mean, he's just so powerful.
I know, but it would
It'd
have
be like if you threw a nuke at Superman and he was just like, bah! Alright.
Is the nuke made out of kryptonite?
No. It's just a nuke.
But yeah, I understand that we can't really kill off Shadow because, like, the rest of the Sonic universe exists. Not just this game or these movies. But it would have also, it's kind of like if they had let Tom die, it would have been really ballsy of them to just stand in that decision. But we're not, and everyone's alive except Robotnik.
And that's fine.
And it's, yeah. Overall, other than I'm a little miffed about Shadow still living,
I think I gave it an 8 out of 10.
I'd say 8 out of 10. It was ranked higher until that end credits scene. I even text James. I was like, this movie was so much better before that end credit scene. I'd even, like, if they wrote it into the next movie, that'd be fine. But, like, to do it at, like, the end credits 19-second bullshit, it's fine. Shadow's alive, which I love Shadow. But yeah, no, the movie was so good.
Highly recommend.
Fantastic. Watch all 3 of them.
They're all so good.
Watch the Knuckles show. And watch our show. Please, like, follow us, like it, subscribe if you haven't. We will be watching Wicked next.
God damn it.
And I'm super excited. So, until then, bye. To you over in the live audience, if you've not liked and subscribed, like this video and subscribe to our channel, ring the bell, all that jazz. It really does help us out. I know every YouTuber says it, but, like, there's, like, an algorithm and shit, and it does. Every little bit helps. So even if you, it's just a tiny thing you can do to like the video. I try to also remember to do it because I am bad about it. Not just for our channel, but for channels that I watch. So yeah, every little bit counts and helps. Share it, like it, subscribe it, ring the bell, all those dumb YouTube things. If you're here, you know. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for Bree for saving the vote from being randomized, which has happened. And thanks for always being so supportive, and we love you guys. And we will, don't worry, Wicked will happen fast. I will strong arm this recording to happen because I've been waiting patiently since December. So, until then, bye. I'll also do a count in our little end scene here. I'll just let you know that I'm doing it. I probably won't do it, like, live, but I will be doing a count to know how many episodes we have before the 200s, and it'll be 199 will be a tier list episode again, and then 200 will be the dreaded whatever we decided is episode. So yeah, I can't count and talk, so I'm going to go now. And then we will see what it is, and we will let you all know. Okay, bye.